Hi, I'm Bill Sheehy from Latin American Masters Gallery in Los Angeles, California. And we're looking at a work by the great Mexican artist Francisco Toledo entitled Pulpo con Ratones, or Octopus with Rats. It's a piece that he did in his final year of life in 2019. It's a great example of Toledo's work as a watercolorist. You can see it's very subtle in its application of color. It's got these beautiful blues and greens and a very rich terracotta and an application of white gouache. It's a very beautiful piece to look at. The subject matter itself is very interesting. Toledo was fascinated with octopuses, particularly during the last 10 years of his life. You know, Toledo was one of the great visual artists of the last half century. And one of his significant contributions to visual culture was his expansion and invention of animal imagery, what is generally called the zoomorphic tradition. Toledo, his animals were not only remarkable in the variety and ways in which he explored and used them to tell stories, but they were also ways in which he explored the wonders, the aesthetic wonders, colors, textures, luminosity of the natural world. Francisco Toledo also was an artist that had a very fluid understanding of reality. That is, for him, whatever something was in terms of whether you were talking about a human being or an octopus, each one of those creatures is an individual with specific characteristics and specific interactions with the world around them. And Toledo used that understanding in all of his works. So in one piece, an octopus might, he did a piece that I love, a print where he's got an octopus with a hammer in its hand and it's trying to break out of an aquarium. You know, I mean, none of us wants to be trapped in an aquarium. So Toledo made a wonderful piece that was about that idea of both of intelligence and entrapment. He made another piece, which I've spoken about in another video, in which he used the image of an octopus like a sea monster to talk about the violence and horror of the slave trade. But in this piece, the octopus with the rats, what do you think he's really interested in here? What is he saying about the characteristic of the octopus that he really wants to talk about here, that he wants to express? Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think that it's a piece that's about camouflage. I think it's about that remarkable ability that the octopus has to disappear into its background, to use the colors and textures around them and then mimic those in some miraculous way that we don't fully understand, and transform its body into its surroundings. And you can see that here in the way he's handled this subtle application of blue and white gouache that seeps up into the body of the figure. The area around the mouth of the figure is blue like the ocean, and up above into the head it completely disappears in this kind of white plume at the center of the octopus's head. Why would he be doing that? Well, octopuses typically camouflage themselves as a mechanism to protect themselves. When there are intruders around, other creatures, predators, potential threats, that's when they use the camouflage. And in this case, the interlopers in this case, the outsiders, happen to be rats. And the joke of the piece is that these animals, this is sort of gang of rats, the boss is over here on a little desert island on the right with a palm tree jutting up into the air around it. They're being implored to come over and join, the other rats are being implored to come over and join the boss. But there's no sense that any of them are aware of the presence of the octopus. It's as if the octopus has disappeared and has just become a part of the landscape. And they're crawling across, so to speak, the horizon line of the topography, if you will, of the octopus's body, with no awareness that this is a living creature that they're surrounded by. And the octopus is fully aware of them. You can see that. This is an example of the way in which Toledo unites something very specific about the octopus with a narrative story that has roots in literature and children's stories like Alice in Wonderland, where you have animals from different worlds conjoined with human behavior. So this is a way for Toledo, in one case, it's a way for Toledo to use a fascination with nature and connect it to an idea of the imaginative that goes way beyond the natural world. I hope you've enjoyed this brief conversation on Francisco Toledo's Octopus with Rats. If you'd like to learn more about Francisco Toledo, please visit our website. Thank you very much.